If you haven't been paying attention, Lectrosonics has been transitioning their focus to digital RF, and this M2T is an IEM system built for the future. If you enjoy this type of video and would like to support the channel, join here on YouTube for just $1 a month. Thanks to all the folks you see on screen right now for helping make these videos possible. This M2T duet system is a digital RF in-ear monitor or IFB system that can output two independent stereo transmissions while taking sources from its analog inputs or the built-in Dante Ultimo interface. Price-wise, the system you see here with two receiving packs would be very similarly priced to Shure's PSM 1000 analog system, which does not offer any Dante networking. The big practical concern when going digital for in-ear monitoring, at least with musicians, is latency, of course. Using the analog inputs, you'll experience 1.6 milliseconds of latency with this system, and on the Dante side, this system adds just 1 millisecond of latency on top of your network latency. So it's up to the end user to manage their network and keep those numbers reasonable. I'll link an AES paper below that looks at latency thresholds for different musicians and situations, which is a pretty interesting read as you're trying to figure this all out. Let me know in the comments what you think an acceptable latency is for the musicians you work with. Are they particularly sensitive to that kind of thing? It'd be really interesting to know what your experience has been. There is another network port, of course, and that's for connecting up to the wireless designer software. As soon as I plug in a cable, it picks up an IP address from the DHCP server, and we're good to go. It's very easy to connect, and this is version 2.0.36 running on an M1 Mac Mini computer, and so far it has been absolutely smooth sailing. Using the receiver, we can do a scan of the spectrum, and then we can upload that scan into our transmitter, which we then import into the software and use to coordinate frequencies for any other RF gear we're using on the day. Then we can deploy those coordinated frequencies back to our hardware. And that all happens very quickly, and Lectrosonics has done a really nice job of making this tool very comprehensive. You can control the hardware, you can do coordination. It's a really nice tool to have. I really suggest you download it and check it out for yourself right now. One little quirk I did find, which I'm sure they will sort, is that under the battery type in the software, you can choose lithium or alkaline, and neither of those are correct for the rechargeable batteries that I'm using here. And on the pack, you can select rechargeable, and then the battery meter does work effectively. Where this can catch you out is if you deploy all settings from the software to the packs, it will change the battery type in the packs, and you'll have to go to each one and reselect rechargeable, which could cost some time if you're using a whole pile of these. Now, I heard this system for the first time back in 2019 at the NAMM show when I was lucky enough to have Carl Winkler give me a first-hand walkthrough of what this system can do. The big takeaway from that experience, though, was just how good this system sounds. There's no companding in this digital RF system. It has no compression on the audio, so the dynamics are fantastic, and the audio separation between channels is so good you can get reliable dual mono use without any crosstalk. There are some clever RF features as well in this system that help improve the performance, most notably the front-end tracking filters that retune as you change the operating frequency. This helps eliminate any interference outside of the operating frequency you are intending to use, and that's a really good thing. What you're hearing now is a demo track from the YouTube audio library being played directly from the file. And now you'll hear it from the headphone out on the front of the M2T, and this is essentially it being played over the Dante network. So we can hear these sound very similar. And now I will take the same recorder and plug it into the M2R receiver and take a walk around this pretty large building. I'll go as far as I can to the other side of this level. And this is not a demonstration of distance or range at all, but what this should give you is just a general idea of how the system sounds compared to what I just played you directly from the Dante system, and also how it sounds when it recovers from experiencing range issues. So we'll see that here. So hopefully you were able to hear a couple of times there where we had some less than perfect signal. And let me know, what do you think about how it recovered and how it handled that? As far as the quality goes, I'm not sure this will translate at all over the internet, but I would highly recommend anybody that's seriously interested get in front of one of these in person and listen for yourself with tracks that you're familiar with. This track is horribly repetitive, but I think we did an okay job highlighting just how consistent and how close the sound you get from this on the receiving end is to the original file, and certainly to the file being played over an audio network. Obviously, Lectrosonics is known for their production equipment that's used on set, on location, and on the go, and that history leads them to pack a ton of functionality into any available space. And this system, if you rack two up side by side with the optional bracket, would give you 4 stereo in-ear systems in a single rack space, and that's pretty exceptional for anybody flying with an in-ear rack these days. If you're able to work in mono, either for certain in-ear mixes or for things like camera hops or just a wireless feed to some auxiliary send that you need, having a wireless transmitter like this, essentially extending your Dante network, is a really powerful and flexible way to handle a lot of things that come up at the last second. So what do you think? Questions? Concerns? Interesting anecdotes you'd like to share? Let me know in the comments.